already said, it has been a minute since we last met, right? Antigua, back in the before times, just as, right, little did we know what was brewing. So I just want to say thank you so much to everybody for your continued interest in and support of CLAG. And since we weren't able to be together in Tucson, we're here together virtually, hopefully to enjoy a copa together and to definitely celebrate all of our honorees. Before we get started honoring all of the amazing people who we're about to honor, I want to take a moment to name and to thank everybody from what they have referred to themselves as the UA Colectivo folks who dedicated so many hours to putting together an amazing conference in Tucson that will happen in 2023. So the UA Colectivo is comprised of Margaret Wilder, Kevin Anchikaitis. Kevin, I apologize if I'm mispronouncing you. Diana Liverman, Shelby Smith, Amanda Percy, Jeff Bannister, Liz Oglesby, Patricia Solis, Francisco Lara-Valencia, Talia Anderson, Elena Lauder, Sophia Rodriguez McGuffin, and Richard or RJ Johnson. So, and just to let you all know, as a token of our appreciation for all that the Colectivo did and all that they have volunteered for again, we're sending each of them a small gift that will be arriving in their snail mailboxes in the next week or so. So, muchísimas gracias, muito obrigada to all of you who did such an amazing job and are the reason, a big part of the reason why we're all able to be here together today on Zoom. David, you're up.
And if I could just speak up in terms of next year's meeting, the field trip that was originally planned to go to Sonora last year and even this year, that got abbreviated into a tour up the Santa Cruz River and then into the highlands of far southern Arizona, will be improved even more next year when we actually get to go into Sonora and hopefully down the Rio Sonora Valley. So please be thinking about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Can't wait. Can't wait. Super. Well, I'm just going to talk briefly about this event. So we have we're going to award give out 9 honors or 7 honors to 9 individuals. And between the executive board, each of us is going to introduce 2 people until the last person. And we hope to speak for less than 2 minutes. And we hope that each of the awardees can keep their own responses to less than 2 minutes so that we can make for an engaging and exciting, but not extensive CLAG Festejo. Okay?
Okay.
Wonderful. All right. So I will begin. First of all, we have 2 new awards that we've never given before. And so I'd like to introduce Dr. Elizabeth A. Oglesby. And if everyone can mute their microphones, please. The speaker will speak and then the awardee will respond. Dr. Elizabeth A. Oglesby is the recipient of the first CLAG Teaching Award 2022. Elizabeth, or Liz, is an associate professor at the University of Arizona with a joint appointment from the School of Geography, Development, and Environment and the Latin American Studies program. The writers of her nomination demonstrated that Elizabeth, or Liz, has stimulated and expanded knowledge on Latin America through her interdisciplinary, interactive, and innovative undergraduate classroom teaching. Her creation and direction of the highly successful 15-year-old Guatemala Study Abroad program and her impactful and prolific mentorship of graduate and undergraduate students. What stands out about Liz's educational approach are her risk-taking, but usually successful efforts to use her educational platforms to empower others, whether this be her integration of Guatemalan instructors, activists, artists, and scholars into the instructional model for the 500-odd graduates of her Guatemala Study Abroad program, her Indigenous Resistance in Latin America course, co-convened with the Maya Chorti Pluriversity on the Honduran-Guatemalan border, or her carefully designed flipped classroom approach of trying to become invisible in the class by the end of each semester. Thank you, Elizabeth A. Oglesby, for your dedication to the teaching of Latin American geography. And please, let's give her a warm round of applause and hear her words.
Oh, thank you so much. Well, we all need our shots in the arm right now. And so thank you for giving me this shot in the arm. Thanks to the CLAG selection committee. It's really meaningful for me to receive this award from CLAG because I've known and respected you all for a long time. I also want to thank the colleagues and former students who nominated me, particularly Diana Lieberman and Margaret Wilder and Shelby Smith and RJ. So thanks very much. I'll try to keep my remarks really brief to set a good example. To express some more gratitude, I just want to mention maybe two things that have kept me inspired to do this kind of work. The first is a debt that I'll never be able to repay to my colleagues in Latin America who trained me and inspired me by their example of engaged intellectual work. And again, it's meaningful to share this with you all in CLAG because I know that all of you have had similar kinds of formative experiences. I'm also glad to be doing this work at the University of Arizona, where really I couldn't ask for better colleagues and students, both graduate and undergraduate. And I've been here 20 years now. And really what keeps me motivated is this sense of the vitality and the urgency of and the importance of teaching about Latin America here, so close to the border, and doing it in a way that creates a sort of counter-public, as you will, and brings students together into that process of knowledge creation with people from the community here. And so I've always been inspired by that for the 20 years I've been here. I'm really glad to be here in Tucson. And I echo Margaret. I hope that we can welcome you all next January. So thank you so much again to everybody.
Salud. Okay, thank you very much, and excellent timing, to be commended. All right, our second award winner is also another new award, the Ascendente Award. And Dr. Zoe Pearson is the recipient of the first ever CLAG Ascendente Award, now in 2022. Zoe, yes, a round of applause for Zoe. Zoe is an associate professor of the School of Politics, Public Affairs, and International Studies at the University of Wyoming. The writers of her nomination demonstrated that Zoe, a critical human geographer and feminist scholar, serves as an excellent first awardee of the Ascendente Award because of her outstanding early accomplishments in scholarship, teaching, and engagement in Latin American geography since her PhD was conferred in 2016. Her extensive scholarship on illicit drug trafficking reveals a multi-scalar and transnational understanding of trafficking and trafficking-related impacts across the Americas, from South American production zones, Central American transit and laundering landscapes, and North American consumption and policy crafting sites. Her intensive engagement with Latin America is underscored by a commitment to taking students into the field, long-term collaborative relationships with multiple communities, and the careful crafting and successful teaching of Latin America-focused courses. Again, another round of applause for Dr. Zoe Pearson.
Thank you.
Zoe, would you like to share some words?
Yeah, thank you all so much. I was so shocked when I heard I received this award, and I'm just really grateful for the honor and grateful to the awards committee and to the nominators, whoever they are, who are still a mystery to me, or nominator, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, really, I just want to thank all the many people who, without whom I wouldn't be here. Starting with, of course, the many participants and collaborators in my research in Bolivia, Honduras, and Ecuador, as well as the United States, Canada, UK, and other places too. Those are the people that I wouldn't be here without. And I'm so grateful to lasting friendships and relationships with people because of the work that I get to do. I want to thank my mentor, Kendra McSweeney, who I don't think is here, but I thought she might be, just for being a fabulous mentor and mentoring me through research and teaching, and showing me how both can be so compatible and are so important. I really also, like Dr. Oglesby said, just love working with the students and the colleagues at the University of Wyoming who let me teach basically what I want to on Latin America. Students are, you might be surprised to know that the students here are very open-minded and very curious about the world, and just are just great to teach and work with. And I'm grateful that I get to teach the things that motivate my research and scholarship as well. Last but not least, CLAG. I just get so much out of being part of this community, the friendships with many of you, and so much of all of your work motivates my work. So yeah, thank you so much. And thank you to my family who are here, Nick Crane, also CLAGista, and the two Avrils, my mom and my daughter. Thanks so much, everybody.
Salud. Okay, I'd like to pass the baton to CLAG Secretary Claudia Radel to give out the next two awards.
Great, thank you. So I'm going to start with the CLAG Enlaces Award. So Dr. Marcellus Caldas is recipient of the 2022 CLAG Enlaces Award. The Enlaces Award is given in recognition. Oh yeah, we should pause and clap, sorry. So this award is given in recognition of contributions to improving relationships between geographers and geography departments throughout Latin America. And recipients over the years, and in fact, we haven't had a recipient in a number of years, are individuals who've really demonstrated success and commitment towards this goal. So Dr. Caldas is a professor in the Department of Geography and Geospatial Sciences, and also the Assistant Provost of International Collaboration and Education Programs for Kansas State University. He also serves as a graduate program collaborator professor, so I'll have to find out what that exactly means, for Sauer State University, UNESP in Brazil, and I'm sure I was not prepared to tackle that acronym correctly, so I apologize for that. Marcellus has a long record of actively working in a variety of different capacities to foster connections between U.S. universities and universities in Latin America, and particularly in Brazil. As the nominators related, some of these efforts have supported Brazilian scholars as visiting scholars to the U.S., and other efforts have supported very important internationalization efforts for graduate programs at several different Brazilian universities. So for these efforts and all his associated accomplishments, we want to recognize Dr. Caldas.
Well, thank you. First, I want to thank CLAG for the opportunity. I'm very touched by the award. I would like also to take this opportunity to thank my colleagues that nominate me for this award. One thing that for me is very important is to recognize how difficult it is to develop collaboration in the pandemic times. Now, if the pandemic has affected us here, you can imagine how much is affecting departments of geography and other departments in Latin America. I have been seeing this. I had the opportunity to travel last year to Brazil and other places in Latin America, and the situation is not good. What they are going, what they are doing to go extra mile to help you. So I would like to dedicate this award to the heroes of this international collaboration that are the colleagues that are overseeing and help us to develop the work that we are developing. They are the ones that deserve this award. I want to thank them for everything they have done and help me to connect my colleagues here, not just at K-State, but many universities in the US with their departments in Latin America. I also would like to thank CLAG for the opportunity to see old friends. I have been, traveling a lot, but didn't have a chance to see my friends, in the CLAGs. So I want to thank you guys for this opportunity. I'm very touched, and thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you for those comments. It was really wonderful to hear you. The next award that I have the honor to introduce the recipient for is our Outstanding Service to CLAG Award. So Dr. Chris Gaffney is recipient of the 2022 Award for Outstanding Service to CLAG. So I'll pause while we clap. Excellent. So this award recognizes significant contributions to the improved functioning, broadened outreach, or enhanced impact of CLAG. Dr. Gaffney served as editor-in-chief of the Journal of Latin American Geography for 4 years, from 2015 to 2018. And during this period of time, during his tenure as editor-in-chief, he significantly expanded the reach of the journal to authors and readers from across Latin America and far beyond, and substantially raised the national and international profile of the journal, really establishing the foundation to launch CLAG's flagship journal into a new era of professionalization and impact. And although his nomination included many details on his specific accomplishments as JLAG editor, I wanted to highlight just one statement. So this is a quote from one of his nominators. During Chris's editorship, JLAG consistently published articles by top scholars in the field, while also remaining a journal welcoming to junior scholars and even graduate students. To me, this really speaks to the heart of who we are as a professional association. So thank you, Dr. Gaffney, for your incredible and important efforts on behalf of JLAG and CLAG.
Thank you, Claudia, and thank you for whomever nominated me. As Johnny will no doubt attest when he receives this award someday, sometimes it feels like CLAG is an albatross and a Sisyphean task all at the same time. But it also involves giving a lot of people other than the editor a lot of work. And I just want to thank some of the people that supported me in that process. First, Joe Scarpesi, who actually was the first one to encourage me to be the editor and served as the first book review editor. So thank you, Joe. Carl Offen, Kendra McSweeney, and Andrew Sluter were really, just gave me carte blanche basically to transform the journal as I saw fit. And I didn't realize how much work I was chewing for myself, but it was a labor of love. And also with that labor of love, I had to have a team of people working with me on the journal: Eric Carter, Jorn Seaman, Martha Bell, Johnny, Jim Freeman, Liz Mason-Dees, a lot of associate editors that I also made work a lot. And of course, the editors can't do it alone, so we needed the reviewers. And so, well, it's really a tremendous honor to be recognized for the work that I put into CLAG and to JLAG. It was also a huge team effort that really reflects more on the organization than on me as an individual. So thank you all for your support. And this is what really makes CLAG such a special place, is to be able to put really hard work in as a labor of love, and then to have it come back with nice recognition and conviviality amongst all of us. So thank you very much.
Salud.
So
Okay.
David, shall I pass the baton next?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so I'm going to pass the baton over to CLAG Treasurer Christian Brandstrom for the Public Engagement Awards.
Great, thanks, Claudia, and hello, everyone. I'll do two. We'll start with Dr. Matthew Taylor, who's recipient of the 2022 CLAG Public Engagement Award. The writers of his nomination described a compelling scene in Nicaragua at Rufino and Maria's place in El Gigante that involves singing, eating, laughing, and a lot of flor de caña, showing how Matthew's commitment to an education that transcends the classroom and that involves everyone, everywhere. The nominators wrote that Matthew instilled in them a simple but difficult to accomplish goal. No research finding is good if you do not provide it to the community that invited you to sit in their living room and made room in their pangas for you. Matthew is professor of geography at the University of Denver. He has published many articles on energy, paleoclimate, and tourism, among other topics, based on field work in Nicaragua and Guatemala. Congratulations, Matthew.
Must I respond now, Christian? Okay, great. No, I'm very honored, and thank you to all of you. And I think this is just the beginning. All of us have this in our hearts all the time, but it's something that we often don't put into practice for many reasons, right? And I think the onus is on us as CLAG, our universities, to put even more effort into this. And effort often involves money, right? And changing the way that we write proposals and do research. So I can only say that this is the very beginning. It should be a norm. We should all have public engagement awards, but it does take a rethinking, a change of discourse as well, in terms of how we work with students and the communities that we work with, that we're so lucky to work with. So I'm very humbled and honored at the same time. So thank you very much, everybody. Thank you.
So the second winner for the 2021 CLAG Public Engagement Award, the nominees do not mention Flor de Caña, but that does not make him any less deserving of this award. And this is Dr. Francisco Lara-Valencia, who is an associate professor of the School of Transborder Studies and affiliated with the School of Geographical Sciences and Urban Planning at Arizona State University. Francisco received his PhD in urban planning from the University of Michigan after doing graduate and undergraduate work in Mexico. His nomination showed that he has a sustained commitment to working with public officials and engaging in public-facing activities involving communities and many intergovernmental partnerships and non-governmental organizations activities in the Mexico-US border region. Francisco has also published dozens of scholarly articles on varied borderland topics, ranging from the border wall to public space to water security, with diverse teams of co-authors. Congratulations, Francisco.
Thank you very much. I'm really honored for this award for two reasons. One, I'm seeing a lot of people that I have admired for a long time. It's great to see you and share this moment with all of you. It's a shame that we are not able to meet in Tucson to celebrate properly this occasion. I hope that next year we will be able to do so. And the other reason why this award is really important for me is because it's coming from CLAG. And CLAG is an organization that I know very well because I've been following your work for years. Is really committed to interdisciplinarity, to cross-border academic collaboration, and to social change in Latin America. that's part of the work I try to do. I try to give sense to my academic work by connecting my activity and my research activity and my teaching with the communities where I belong, but also working with colleagues in the US and Latin America to connect their own work with the communities, trying to identify ways to improve quality of life, increase the opportunities of participation in decision making, and solving the many different problems that we know exist in the region. So CLAG gave me with this award a lot of extra energy that to keep doing this is a recognition of the value of the work that many of us do, trying to connect our academic activity with the communities. And this is why I feel so happy to be here in this festejo. Thank you very much for the honor, and I hope to see you next year in the Old Pueblo to celebrate and participate in our conference. Thanks.
Thank you, Francisco. And now I'll turn it over to Catherine for the Carl O. Sauer Distinguished Scholarship Awards.
Thank you, Christian. And it's so great to be with everybody. I'm coming to you from Prince George in northern British Columbia in Canada on the traditional unceded territory of the Clay Lake Tenay, the place where two rivers come together. It's my great pleasure to introduce the two people who will be receiving the Carl Sauer Distinguished Scholarship Award. We'll be giving one for 2021 and one for 2022. And just to give you a thumbnail sketch of this award before I introduce the two winners, the Carl Sauer Distinguished Scholarship Award is granted in recognition for a corpus of important published work and other significant contributions toward Latin American geography. And Sauer Distinguished Scholars are leading authorities in specific research topic and geographic areas in Latin America, as well as individuals whose research has made significant advancements towards fostering understanding of Latin America to a broader audience. And so I am very pleased to recognize Dr. Robert Toovey Walker as the recipient of the 2021 Carl Sauer Distinguished Scholarship Award. We'll give a round of applause for this significant achievement. Dr. Walker's nomination indicates, well, first, Dr. Walker is professor in the Department of Geography and the Center for Latin American Studies at the University of Florida. And Dr. Walker's nomination indicates that he's been at the forefront of multiple debates about Amazonian development and has provided us with significant long-term studies that have incorporated multiple methodologies ranging from remote sensing to field work on the Trans-Amazon, as well as to spatial and social theory. Additionally, he's also confronted the big questions in Amazonia and often ahead of his time, as the nomination letter reads. Additionally, his nominators indicate, of course, what many of us would know, that Amazonian fieldwork is arduous, and in his case, a collaborative enterprise. His research is regularly translated into Portuguese and published in Brazilian journals, as well as more popular venues. What this shows is a continuing engagement in the questions of Brazil and Amazonia, in its politics, thinking, and thinkers, and also to Dr. Walker's commitment to the accessibility of his work and his research. For this and much more that we all know about Dr. Walker's work and his commitment to Latin American geography, I want to congratulate you, Dr. Walker, as our new Sauer Distinguished Scholar. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Is it time for me? Okay. Yeah, there've only been a couple of times in my life when I felt like I'd actually done something worthwhile. And the first time was when I got my master's degree. And I was very happy about that. I sat around for about 3 days doing nothing but smiling. The second time, well, I should say that everything after that was basically an anticlimax up until this particular award. And after I got this award, which took me totally by surprise, I sat around for about 7 days doing nothing but smiling. And so I was very, very pleased. And thank you so much for the recognition. Now, I think one thing that the award attests to is the open-mindedness of you all as a community, Latin American geographers, and being able to recognize someone who came in perhaps from the left or right field who was heavily engaged in mathematical modeling. I remember at a meeting maybe 10 years ago, I think it was in Fortaleza, breakfast. Do you remember that?
It wasn't 10, it was, yeah, but
Well, anyway, it was a while back, and I went to breakfast and sat down and was looking at name tags. I won't say new to the group, but there was a fellow named Ken Mathewson, and we got into a conversation about the Revolutionary Communist Party and Bob Avakian, and it was a very interesting conversation. After which he looked at my name tag and said, "Well, who are you?" And he studied my name tag, and he says, "Oh, you're the anomaly." And so that was, I think, the way that I was viewed early on. But anyway, I think since then my work has mellowed and become more accessible. I'm even forgetting how to recognize equations. So, I'm a little bit guilty about the award in that I feel that there's some reflected glory here in the sense that, I've had just tremendous engagements in the field with colleagues. I couldn't name them all, but I'd like to name a few. Eugenio, of course, Arlema, Marcellus Caldas, who just received an award here. Stephen Aldrich would certainly be another one. Cynthia Simmons, certainly. And more recently, I've done work in Mexico, and I'd like to credit Yankovic Galvan for, fantastic engagement in the field, and of course, Marta Astier. And so, it's as I say, it took me by surprise, and I'm very grateful to, the community of scholarship here. And I have only one question, which is, when can I become eligible again for the award? Because I really enjoyed how it felt.
Salud, congratulations.
Thank you.
Well, now it's my pleasure to turn to the 2022 CLAG Carl Sauer Distinguished Scholarship Award, which we are very pleased to bestow on Dr. Thomas Perreault. And we'll give Thomas a round of applause before I talk all about his great accomplishments. Dr. Perreault is professor and chair of the Department of Geography and the Environment at Syracuse University. And Thomas holds 2 named chair positions at Syracuse, the Del Plane Chair in Latin American Geography and the Meredith Chair of Teaching Excellence. Many of you will know Dr. Perreault is a political ecologist concerned with the interface between environment, social justice, and development, and has worked on these issues in the Andean Amazonian region, both in Ecuador and Bolivia, since the early 1990s. He's written foundational papers for our contemporary understanding of the region and has established himself as one of our preeminent Latin American geographers. Tom's nominators highlight his consistent publication of high quality peer-reviewed journal articles in leading geography journals since the 1990s on mining and water governance and indigenous resource uses and indigenous identity in the Andes, in addition to several book chapters in multidisciplinary books. And notable in this corpus is that it not only contributes to Latin American geography, but also to geographical theories relating to materiality, identity, governance, collective action, and political ecology. Dr. Perreault's scholarly contributions in Spanish to readers in Latin America and collaborations with Latin American colleagues and departments through visiting scholar appointments and significant supervision and mentoring of graduate folks from Latin American countries are especially noted. And finally, his nominators share that throughout all of his impressive work and while engaging in complex theoretical debates, Tom never let go of his commitment to careful field work in rural communities, as is clear in his work on water management in Cochabamba, for example, and mining contamination elsewhere. Congratulations, Dr. Walker, our new Sauer Distinguished Scholar who brings great credit to our beloved CLAG community. Congratulations. Over to you, Tom.
Okay, great. Thank you, Catherine. Thank you for everybody, to everyone. My internet seems to be going out. I don't know if the storm in New York is going to undermine this whole endeavor or not, but I'll do my best to get some thoughts out while I have a connection. So thank you so much. And I just want to begin by thanking CLAG and thanking the nominating committee, thanking Catherine, Brent, Christian, and everyone who is part of this. I'm really humbled and was taken completely by surprise and off guard by this. It was completely unexpected, and I think in a lot of ways, really, I'm just very surprised. So thank you. It's also particularly meaningful coming from CLAG. CLAG has always been a very important organization to me. It was my first ever academic conference was at CLAG in 1994 in Guadalajara. I believe it was 94. It was definitely Guadalajara. And that was as a new master's student. I had no idea what I was doing. I had absolutely no.
Let's hope he comes back.
And to a lot of people, and I owe it of geography and environment at University of Texas at Austin. And my advisor, Greg Knapp, Bill Doolittle, who are here today. And then I went on and did my PhD at Colorado, worked with Tony Bevington and others, Donna Goldstein, including
Sounds like it's worth waiting for. So we'll wait for his internet to kick back in.
Syracuse University and the environment there that has important shout out to my goddaughters, Dalila Grefa and Janet Grefa, to folks with the Federación de Organizaciones Indígenas de Napo in Ecuador, which is now Fonaquín, the Centro Agua in Cochabamba, it's our close.
Oh, it looks like it's been kicked off of Zoom. We'll have to see if he can rejoin us. Shall we move on to our next award and come back to Tom if he's able to establish connection again?
He's back.
It's back.
I'm pretty much done. Anyway, thanks. I mostly wanted to get the folks in Bolivia and Ecuador, and thank you so much. So I'll just sign off before the snowstorm undermines me again. This is what happens when you're in Syracuse. Thanks, everybody.
Congratulations. And now I'll turn it over to Kristen Conway Gomez, our Executive Director.
Thanks, Catherine. So I have the pleasure of introducing the recipient of the Preston E. James Eminent Latin Americanist Career Award recipient, who is Dr. Joe Scarpese. So I'll allow a round of applause for Dr. Scarpese. Dr. Scarpese's body of work spans the Americas, from his work on land tenure in Guatemala, fertility decline in Costa Rica, accessibility to the primary health system in Chile, tourism, globalization, historical preservation, Latin American historical centers, and of course, his extensive work on urban and social issues in Cuba. His various nominators pointed not only to the geographic breadth of his contributions, but also the range of topics and formats his work in the region encompassed. From academic and popular press, to radio, to film, and business. Maybe if we could all mute our microphones, that would be helpful. Yet another contribution of Dr. Scarpese's is the training of scholars, from undergraduate through master's and doctoral students who've gone on in both academic and professional fields. Notable is his decade of service as the CLAG book review editor. His corpus of significant publications having already been recognized through his receipt of the Carl O. Sauer Distinguished Scholarship Award, it's only fitting that we recognize Dr. Scarpese today for his lifetime achievement of contributions to the understanding of the geography of Latin America that is bestowed with the Preston E. James Award. So please welcome, join me again in a hearty felicitaciones to Dr. Scarpese.
Many thanks. I'm very grateful for the award. I spent the fall reading Dick Szymanski's tirades about the faculty at Syracuse, and what he had to say about James wasn't very flattering, but anyhow. I need to call out, make a shout out to a non-Latin Americanist at Rutgers when I was an undergrad, Briaville Holcomb, who, an urban behavioralist out of the Colorado School of Gilbert White, that encouraged me to go to Guatemala, work with some Quakers, live with an indigenous family, keep a journal, and read Felix Webster McBride's Historical Geography of Southwest Guatemala. She was crazy, I was young, and it was just a wonderful arrangement. So thank you, Bria. Moving into Penn State, where at that time in 1978, it was sort of a dirty word to be a regionalist because the space cadets were there, Abler, Adams, and Gould. In a quantitative methods class, Peter Gould pulled out a recent issue of the Annals and he read it, he held it up to the students and he said, he read the caption of the photograph and it was, "Campesino in field with white pants." And everybody laughed and I cringed because I had just sort of gotten back from Guatemala. But the good thing about Peter, God rest his soul, was that he encouraged everybody to find a theoretical base, and that was helpful. Moving to the University of Florida, I'm really grateful to Cesar Cavieres, who I haven't seen in such a long time. I hope he's doing well down there in Gainesville. Bob Walker and Cynthia, if you see him, give him my kind regards. Cesar really emphasized good Spanish and was always outraged at CLAG meetings and AAG meetings when he would say, well, the scholar has Taco Bell level Spanish, and cringe. Of course, Cesar spoke Italian, German, Portuguese, Spanish, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm really indebted to that. His field trips in Chile in the 1980s were spectacular. A shout out to Ignacio Irarrázaval at the Catholic University. Cesar got me to go to my first CLAG meeting in 1981 in Buffalo, New York with Barry Letnick. And there were very kind people there, Oscar Horst and Ern me. And as a young scholar, when the sessions are over and then people invite you out for a drink and you're not sitting around there, you feel very welcome. So I'm grateful to the old timers who were kind enough to pay attention to this young whippersnapper. So to those behind me, those of my contemporary generation, Kent Matheson, Brian Godfrey, David Robinson, really models of research for me. I'm very grateful to all of you. So thanks so much.
And now I think we're good. I'm going to pass it on to Catherine.
Thanks, Kristen. We have actually completed the agenda, our itinerary for the day, which is unbelievable that we have done this in under an hour. Thank you, everyone, for not only being concise, but sharing really beautiful and inspirational words with all of us. I think that's what makes this group so amazing, and I'm so thrilled to be able to serve as chair, even though the whole time of this chairship will be on Zoom. I look forward to being with all of you in Tucson in about a year's time, less than a year's time now. But because we've been so good with our time, we have about 10 minutes before we want to sign off. And so I know some people will have to leave, but I think if David, this is his Zoom line, if you're okay with this, maybe we'll just open it up. And if anybody who isn't an award winner and wants to congratulate someone or just say hello, we'd love to hear from all of you. So you can raise your hand or just kind of wave at us, and we'll, I think you can unmute yourself probably. So maybe we'll turn it to Bill Doolittle, who put his hand up first.
Well, I was once accused of never seeing a microphone I didn't like. So I'll take this advantage. And Joe, you probably remember these days, but I first got involved with CLAG in the late 1970s. And at the time it was made up of what I thought were a bunch of old white guys. They really weren't all that old, but they seemed old. Well, now that I'm the old white guy, I have to say 40 plus years on, I'm very happy to see people who are young, not white, and female. I think CLAG has come a long way. And professionally, I think Chris Gaffney helped us a lot with the journal and transforming the journal. So, as I like to say, onward and upward, the future's bright. Thank you all.
Thank you, Bill. If anybody else wants to jump in, please do so. While we're just waiting, I will encourage you all to think about nominations for 2023. So when we're in Tucson, we'll hopefully get to do this all in person. And these awards rely on all of us to be good colleagues and look around and really celebrate the people around us and bring them to our, the whole group's attention. And so I really encourage you to think about nominations for next year. And I'll turn it over to Rebecca.
Yes, I would also like to follow up the announcement that I just sent out on the CLAG listserv about the our next cycle of the field study grants, as we're now calling them. So please encourage your students to apply for them. This is, I think, what really generates a lot of our CLAG support in the long run is when students receive these, that they then participate in CLAG into the future. So yes, please support and encourage students to apply for it.
Great, and thank you, Rebecca, for coordinating all of this for CLAG. Chris, go ahead.
It's hard to unmute and lower one's hand at the same time. I shared this with the board last week, but for those who weren't on the board meeting, some interesting news is that we're beginning a book series, a CLAG book series, to replace what we had renounced with Springer with the University of Florida Press coming up very soon. And the idea is that we will have 3 co-editors, each one in charge of a thematic area. And so if you have interest in that, the publications committee is currently working on the proposal for that. And we will be putting together a basic description of what we want to do with the press. They're very excited about it. But the idea is that we would have an editor for political ecology, one for urbanization and political economy, and another one for frontiers and migrations. Of course, that's up for debate as well. So just want to put that out there so you can be thinking about it if you're interested in being one of the co-editors of the book series. That is in the works and will be coming your way with more details pretty soon.
Great, thank you for that work. And Chris is the chair of our publications committee. And so they'll be busy and active as a committee this coming year.
The problem with getting one of these awards is you have to keep earning it.
I love it. Matthew, please go ahead. Great to see you here tonight.
Yeah, thanks very much. I would just like to reiterate all of the thanks that have gone out already to the Tucson folks, because it's a lot of work. And yeah, so save that work and let's move on to the next year. So thanks very much. I mean, I know it's a real serious blow in the heart, but it's good. We'll move on. Thanks a lot, everybody in Tucson.
David, as chair of the honors committee, did you want to add anything to round us off here?
Just thank everyone for coming out and being the community that we also cherish, and being the excellent geographers you are and the excellent human beings. And it's just wonderful to see everyone's face and to see everyone enjoying being together, even if it is in a virtual space. It's still a space. And that's great. So thanks to everyone. And we look forward to seeing you folks in Tucson, where it's going to get a lot more fun.
All right, I think we'll sign off there. Thanks, everyone. Congratulations to all of you who are recipients of our honors. You enrich us as a community and inspire us, and look forward to meeting with you all in Tucson. We'll sign off. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye. Oh, the last 3.
I was curious to see who would be here at the end.
Look at this.
Thanks.
2 minutes to spare. I can't believe it.
Actually, Claudia, can you send me your remarks?
Yeah, so you might want to stop the recording.
Good point. Good point.